Here we are. We're here for the final set 3 for the Crazyhouse World Championship 2020. This is the challenger Jasugi99 versus opperwezen. Jasugi99 is currently leading 23 games to 17, so he has a handy 6-game lead. The match is definitely on Jasugi's racket. We've got 20 games left to play. Time control is 3 minutes plus 2 seconds increment. I'm joined here again by the legendary Grandmaster Yasser Seirawan in the top in box 1, myself JannLee in box 2. This is candidate Mugwort in box 3, and also a previous candidate in box 4, Kleerkast. Welcome, guys. How are you?
Thank you, Justin. Pleasure to be with you. Thank you, everyone, for joining. Well, guys, are we ready for the third and final day of World Championship competition?
Sure, great to be back again for the finale. What do you think opperwezen's odds are? Better than 1 in a trillion?
Yeah. Let's hope for opperwezen. It would be nice if he snatches the first couple of games to make it very exciting.
Absolutely. So let's be clear. We're expecting by the end of this stream that we will be able to crown the Crazyhouse World Champion for 2020. Jasugi99 would need a score of 8 points at least out of the 20 to take, well, let's say 7.5 to be precise.
Right.
So we do need to see opperwezen come out of the blocks really quickly to make this a close contest. Games are about to start.
And that, of course, was not the case in day 1 of the competition, as Yasugi ran off like the first 7 games. And we were talking about that as we were coming onto your show, Justin, just how big a lead that is. That's really hard to overcome.
So if you take those 7 games away, then the rest of the games are pretty much 50-50.
Right.
The hard thing is then doing the reverse and pulling off 7 games in a row yourself against Jasugi, which is nigh on impossible.
That's right. So I let Yasser know that in 2017 I found myself in a very similar situation in the second set, where I was down 19-13 at one stage, and I came back to level that 20-20 going into the final stretch. But okay, let's go straight to the game talk here. They're moving very quickly.
They have.
This is a new move. This is Bishop D3. We were seeing more Bishop E3 last time, so it looks like possibly both players came prepared for this line.
Knight G4 is preventing Bishop E3 already.
I was about to say, a little confusing, that Knight G4, but he does have a pawn in the hand, and thanks to the knight being on E2, he could play either E4 or C4 and win his minor back. He chose E4.
Okay.
And assuming we're going to capture it and go Bishop H6, or Bishop in hand to H6, of course, is what I mean.
The Bishop F5, he's a hit with tempo, though I'm not sure if it's
tempo.
worthwhile. There could be some knight at C5 later that hits B7, and D7 could be a weakness. So yeah, this is again we saw a similar kind of position where white got active and had holes in the position, but basically had pieces in hand, and it was seeing if white could prove if those weaknesses were worthwhile. I think it's a nice move. Bishop at C4. It's basically looking at capturing E2 and looking for either a weakness on D4 or E4.
Exactly.
I was already thinking if Bishop F5, not in hand, but just to move Bishop F5, there was Queen takes F5, E6, stuff like that coming. When you have your Bishop on F8 and your King still on E8, you have to be very careful for your F7 square usually. So I like Bishop at C4, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
But I also like it for the reason that Justin was mentioning. Bishop takes E2, and it's a kind of awkward recapture. I think you basically have to recapture now with the knight. After Bishop E2, Knight E2, Knight E4 check, then the rooks are not connected anymore. How meaningful it is, I don't know.
Yeah, I nearly see Knight at E4 is probably I mean, what's the follow-up? That's the question if you play knight at e4. So, you don't have to play knight e4, but you kind of well, if knight at f5 and pawn at e3, as black here, you want to create some kind of momentum. You're looking for trades, but they're not straightforward.
Maybe you want to go bishop f5 and then bishop e4 ideas?
Possibly.
And you can escape to d7, c8 with the king in some lines.
Yeah, well, bishop f5 was played. Pawn at d3.
Very quickly,
Instant
pawn to
move.
d3.
So that was hit with a tempo on c2.
I don't know if I just simply don't like that move. I would have put, let's say, knight in hand to g3. And if you take on c2, very much what Kleerkast was just suggesting, pawn to e6. And, there's a lot of dangers suddenly. But pawn to d3, it's so nice to have that pawn in hand. And I just hate throwing it away on it, to protect the square.
I'm thinking h5 here, just to prevent g4.
I think we're about to see
if that's something that needs to be prevented. But just quickly, I'm going to acknowledge first donation of today. Sundwin Ocean has donated $5. Says thank you for commentating, and I do have to call out a massive donation that occurred while we were offline. It's from Art, who I assume is actually Art of Deception as one of the candidates this year. He's donated $100, and it said, would also like to donate my $100 winnings back into the pool if possible, which is very generous. We had
nice.
We had JK the Bullfrog actually did this in a prior year himself. He donated $100 as well as returning his prize money. All right, we'll go back to the game.
We've just seen a trade and a check. I was about to say how meaningful was the check, and he very quickly played king e2.
Ooh,
I'm not sure.
Bishop takes e5.
Whoa. Bishop takes e5 takes on. Whoa. I thought he was going to take on d4. Okay, a lot of moves are coming fast and furious and surprising, at least for me. I guess he wants to play knight g3 check.
It's only a rook if he picks up h1. I think
Maybe
he's going to be safe on d2.
You have to be careful about bishop at e6 ideas as well here, right?
Yeah, there's a lot of ideas. Knight at g7.
I like this one too. Well, king d7, and then maybe what? Are we going? No, queen g. No, we're maybe. I don't know what we do. Ooh, king f8, queen h6, guys.
Yeah, queen h6 is almost automatic.
Terrible.
Yeah, I was looking at knight
suddenly.
at g3 check instead of knight at g2. I thought you could try to grab f5 with the knight too.
Right. Yeah, no, this looks suddenly very, very over. No defenses here.
Yeah, very one-sided here. So, yeah, I think Jasugi gets to prove first game that the pieces in hand and his activity were good enough to win.
That's one advantage of having a bit of space around your king. When your opponent sacks on f2, then your king can go this way or that way.
That's true.
Right. Now, in the previous sessions, I must say, I am no fan of this queen h4 business, but I thought that white was just getting tremendous games in the previous sets. What do you guys think?
I think pawn at e5 looks prepared. That's what I think. But
he looked at it for sure, and Opper not going for pawn at h6 ideas just yet.
Yeah, right.
Okay, there we go.
Too soon. Yes.
Yeah. If takes, there's knight takes c7, and you get an extra pawn for g7. Yeah, exactly.
So somehow the inclusion of knight c3 and a6 was to white's advantage.
So that was your
move, Yasser.
That was your suggestion.
Yeah, Jasugi watched the VOD and he tips from Yasser.
The broadcaster archived everybody.
So we had one game with this line, and Yasser mentioned, what about pawn at g6? And the three of us kind of said, yeah, there's nothing we can see that refutes that. So,
well, h6
nice
takes g7. Yeah, h6 takes g7 helps black develop, and as we know, single tempos can really swing the advantage decisively. So I'm looking for a good follow-up here, and at the moment, bishop g5 is the best I could come up with, and I'm not impressed.
Yeah, it's a nice subtle threat. Pawn at g6 basically says you can't follow up with pawn at g7, so I'm going to rip off the h6 pawn for free if you don't do anything.
Right. Exactly.
So yeah, he's got a problem now. He's sacrificed the pawn, and he kind of needs to show some initiative here. But this precise setup with the pawn on e5 and a6, and black's doing just enough to keep black out, it seems. So this is nice. Pawn at h6. So the idea here: knight takes, bishop takes, bishop takes. Maybe there's something happening with knight takes c7, knight d5, and a knight at f6 at some stage.
Check.
King f8 still looks safe, so Jasugi's taken it pretty quickly. It's a bit of a case of it might be a bluff call. We'll see.
It feels like a bluff, frankly, but in Crazyhouse.
It's a good decision, I think, from Jasugi, because upper, if he goes back with the knight from b5, he's just no attack anymore, and Jasugi is just keeping the pressure on the clock. So if something happens to his position, upper has burned a lot of time already, so maybe he can get back on the clock then.
Exactly.
Is he going to go queen a5 check at the end after knight d5?
Yeah, you'd have to play king f1, and then the knight is defended on d5, but I mean, white's not really claiming any immediate advantage.
Ooh, he is allowing queen a5 check in this rendition of what he just tried.
Yeah.
I thought he was going knight f6 check, and then knight d5. Here, I can go queen a5.
And then king f1.
Maybe,
so that's
maybe
okay.
Castles or something. Queen a5 check, king f1. Okay.
b4. Got to use every resource.
I'm not sure. This looks like a real stretch to my eyes. Bishop takes b4.
Yeah.
Question: what are you going to do? By the way, pawn is about to come to b2 in a lot of lines. I can see already some first rank issues maybe to be experienced.
If this works, then I like it very much, because now the bishop is no longer covering the queen. But that's the point of b4, right?
That is right.
Yeah. So queen d6.
Just move the queen. Okay.
Protects f6 for the moment. Readies a move like knight e4 to attack the queen.
It's also important that queen d6 still covers e5, right? Knight takes b4, otherwise would have left e5 maybe a bit vulnerable.
Exactly.
And if the queen comes to e5, we have a nice fork on the king and the rook.
Mm-hmm. I like this move knight e4, kind of protecting knight d2, fighting against knight d2, if you will.
Yeah, it actually traps the queen.
Like a good move.
So it was probably white's only move to regain some kind of material or compensation in this position.
What do we think about castles? Knight takes d6, bishop takes d6.
On a g5 after that?
Pawn at g5. Okay, that's annoying to say the least.
Yes, exactly.
I think as Jasugi here, you're really trying to see if there's some way you can block it all out.
Right.
It's not
queen
not
e6
so
maybe.
The queen e6, knight c7.
King f8 takes the queen, takes with the d pawn, and the bishops are covering both diagonals. The bishop on b4 and f8, right? So pawn at f6 might be a problem, but
yeah.
The other idea is like actually a knight at d2 check. Knight takes bishop from b4, captures d2, which there'll be rinse and repeat knight at e4, and then queen takes d5. Maybe that's not what I thought it was. I'm basically trying to give up the queen and castle, but have better defense on h6. But it didn't work out. So this is
something very similar. He just wanted to cover up a lot of his, how do you say, tenders.
Does bishop e8 the move here?
Ooh.
Oh, he's given up c7, but he's going to get something with knight at e4 and knight at d2 here.
Oh, you have to go to d8.
Oh,
can you go here?
Go to f8. Yeah, I think you can go to g7.
Oh, okay, yeah, you can go away. Okay.
Check king g7 and nothing's
happening.
Great following. No.
Very good practical
so
position.
The rook.
Yeah, the weapons Opper has in hand are like sledgehammers, whereas he needs a drill.
Nice.
Wow.
He made a drill on b1.
A drill. Ooh. Nasty.
I don't think that's anything though.
Oh, I think
he's just too safe.
Yeah. Yes. He needed time for pawn at g7, but he doesn't have it.
Exactly.
I think.
Yeah, pawn at d7. Pawn at d7 was nice.
What a turnaround there at the very end. I think
one advantage
the pawn on e7 was a great move. Yeah.
One advantage for Opper is that he might be forced to give up the scotch now. Play a better move like bishop c4.
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
So this is queen h4 is probably a bit of an anti-Scotch move order there. Yeah, maybe
hard to come up with something, just in the moment against this pawn at g6 move.
Yeah, he's got to move quick as well. I mean, 2-0 lead for Jasugi already. He'll be feeling some pressure here. So he sacrificed the knight on e5 this time. This looks original. I'll just take a moment to read out a comment. So Apigit Goes donated $2. Says, I love Mugwort /Opper. Play Crazyhouse blindfolded. Says, Shogi and Crazyhouse opening theory and my free time for the next 20 years are booked. It's a nice comment there.
My next 20 years.
Fee and Cheddar rating with a party of 65. Fiona, thanks so much.
Nice.
We had Kleerkast here give us a bit of a preview saying that we should expect something. Thank you for bringing in some viewers and supporting the channel. Really appreciate it. Kleerkast, if you want to make any final comments with Fiona.
Yeah, Fiona's hooked. I'm sure. Fiona's hooked. We were doing some puzzles on her stream, and at first she was like, "Oh, I don't get this. Maybe." And then the last couple, it was so easy. She saw all the moves. So there was already a comment on her channel as well that Fiona opperwezen will be the final next year. So there's fate in opperwezen for this final still.
Very nice. Very nice. Yeah. Here, guys, I certain things about the fortress I'm not really pleased at as far as black is concerned. I think I'm taking on d3 with the idea if you take with a queen, I'll put a bishop on c4. If you take with the pawn, then I want to start blasting with pawn on e5 and pawn in hand to e5. Pardon me. Let me just articulate that, and just trying to gain as much tempi as I can. He did it.
Yeah, I was just interested enough that black regained 2 pawns for that piece. And maybe it wasn't so straightforward to defend e5 with that knight on e2. I think that was the point.
Mm-hmm.
And so I do have to call in another massive donation. Harina Zumi Sama, who's already donated before, has just donated another $50. Thank you for your support on that one. Massive support. I like black here.
Wonderful.
I like what black got out of the opening.
Black did really well here. I'm castling, I think. Ooh, I love those pawns on f4 because the bishop on d2 does not tickle me on h6, right? So that pawn on f4 kills that bishop on d2. So that's why I would probably be reluctant to take the knight on g3. I understand it's a knight. I mean, come on, it's a knight, but
also the pawn formation controlled the knight on g3. It had nowhere to go except backwards.
Exactly.
Yeah, you could castle there or go bishop at b6 to try to increase the pressure on f2. But he just now Jasugi is okay. He has to sacrifice a rook for a piece, trade a rook for a piece, and now Jasugi can figure out how to take over basically. Because black's attack is a bit dead.
Yeah, I'm thinking knight g7 is already causing issues, let's say.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so knight at g7, we probably would take that one and play rook g8, but queen e2 has been played first.
Queen e2.
So defending d3, giving a bit of kingside cover. This is nice.
Okay, but
looking for rook at f2. It seems.
Rook at f2 is coming, yeah. And you want, if the bishop gets on f2, that's very nice, of course, as well. So it's not so easy to just take.
Right. Tickling the pawn on g7. So what is the story after knight g7 check now? With the idea,
I think we'll take it and play rook g8.
Okay, but now I could potentially win the rook on f2, like, I don't know, something like rook g8, bishop h6?
I think king d7 is always a very safe resource for black here.
Yeah, because the bishop is covering c5. There's no knight checks on c5.
There's no knight checks on.
This one's looking Opper's favor, both the position and the clock. It's just been very nice natural development. The bishop takes d3 was basically the continuation if the queen was going to retreat. So we've got queen takes e5 can't be played because of knight at f3 check, forking the king and queen. So he's had to give up the queen here.
I don't know about bishop e3. Okay, that move kind of confuses me. Okay.
I think
I wonder if you can go bishop takes h3.
Yes,
in some
exactly.
cases.
Like right now.
Yeah, he goes it right now, and then take on e3 next, and then you have bishop at g4. You can, if you take with the pawn, there's knight at f3.
Exactly.
With mate to follow.
Right.
Queen h2 and pawn e4. So
in
king
the meanwhile,
takes.
Knight g4 check is a mating threat. So rook f8 feels like a desperado.
Yeah, I think if the king is on d7, there's might be some
I wouldn't
defense.
have taken it. But maybe he's going to go rook at h8, king g7 is actually king g7 would be.
Yeah, no pawn in hand. That's nice to note. So you can just take the rook.
Yeah, king g7 is the accurate move here. Because you don't want to block on g8, then there's bishop h6.
Even if there was a pawn in hand, there's still no mate.
Yeah, there's a rook needed as well. Indeed, you're right, Neil.
The knight's coming back to defend f3. That's the point here.
Yeah, now you can take with the pawn on h3 because f3 is defended, just as you were saying. They're just.
Yep.
The rook h5, yeah. Keep the pressure on the clock here.
G4 necessary. But I think you can just take.
But now you can take
the knight.
Take
Opens
the knight.
The a7 g1 diagonal.
Correct. Take the rook. Bishop takes g5. Rook at g2 would be mating.
Mates. Looks like mate. Rook g5 should be followed by rook f2. What you're saying there, Justin, looks like mate.
So rook takes g5. Bishop takes b6. Rook takes g4.
Yes, he needed to calculate that as well, of course. And bishop h6, just take the pawn on h7 and be safe.
Yeah, but he's now safe, so he can afford to lose a rook. There's no immediate mate threat. This should be in black's favor. It's just don't lose on time is basically it.
Exactly.
Very
I like
nice.
Knight at f6.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Knight at f6 consolidating. Just saying. Yeah. Yep, I got this in hand. Let's not lose the queen.
Something to be. I was about to say something to be said for bishop h6, but he chose. Ooh, rook takes f2 and pawn to h6. I don't know if that was so crafty.
I think he'll be okay. You can even take it.
Real? Ooh, okay.
Just
back to g7.
Holy smokes! Oh boy,
you couldn't take the pawn.
Very risky.
Pawn at e6. Pawn at e6 was winning. No. Oh, it's winning already. All right.
Jasugi is so dangerous.
That was very bad.
He shouldn't.
I would have never.
Oh my goodness! Jasugi just pulled a rabbit out of the hat there. That was world class. It was just king takes h7 instead of king g7. That's all that was in it.
King takes h7.
Yeah, instead of moving the king back to g7, which allowed bishop h6 check. If he had played king takes h7, he was still safe, very much at home.
Because then the rook on h6 occupies the square where the pawn wants to be.
Correct. Right. So you have to play like a rook at h6, and that was a crazy swindle. He was low on the clock. Feels bad, man.
Feels bad. Exactly. We're gonna see Yasser coming with the emotes today.
Let me pull out my bamboo stick.
Exactly.
Okay.
The Yasser GIF.
Yeah, bishop g5 was what we suggested last game, right?
Right. I'm gonna have to talk a little softer, guys. Sorry about that.
f6.
Okay, that's the question. Do you feel lucky? Pawn to f6.
I was actually
it's the most challenging move, right?
Yeah, knight bc3 a6 is where white lost the tempo before. I was even just thinking h takes g7, bishop takes g7, pawn at d6 looked like an improvement. But, well, okay. So
d8. What did we just see? Did we see a JannLee queen sacrifice there, Justin? What was that?
Yeah, maybe.
Pawn takes h6.
I was looking at f6, actually. But
yeah, me too. I thought that was a... Okay, here I'm thinking bishop a5, both to protect c7 and the offensively minded pin against the knight on c3, of course. The queen
castles,
in hand. Yeah.
Keep the queen in hand for now.
Yeah. Hard to chew your way through black's position, though, right?
Yeah, you need some knight d5 on this, right? So that's or a pawn on d6.
I don't like a6. I think I was starting with knight f6 on that previous turn. I didn't see a way of going on the offense as white against knight f6. I just thought, stop that knight d5 blow.
Maybe you want to go, I don't know, b4. I was thinking about b4, and every capture has something against it, right? If you take with the a5, there is knight takes c7. If you took with the f8 bishop, there was queen at g7.
G7, yeah.
And if you took with the knight, there was queen takes e5.
Mm-hmm.
But okay.
Yeah.
He went for this instead.
Yes.
Yeah, I like b4. That was very resourceful. I guess the response could have been bishop b6 to b4.
Right.
You might actually just say, well, I'm going to avoid all three captures because each one gives something
Congratulations, got b4 and right. But here, it's kind of hard to shake white off here a bit. So, like, if I play d6, I'm really afraid that something like pawn to b6, and I have, just, ugh.
Yeah, but you see how much better an opening white got out of this one. I mean, last time this was being played, you felt like white was under pressure every move to prove something, and was just losing material each move. Whereas here, queen in hand very early. I just felt bishop takes d8 was given up a bit easy, but
here bishop takes c5 is met by queen c7 and queen takes e5. I suppose is the problem.
Yeah, that looks very dangerous, actually. Even if there's no mate, there's just so much material and potential with knight checks and things. The queen sack is worthwhile.
Right. Okay. Well, here, knight b6? No.
So, bishop takes c5,
like
not an issue.
The position.
Yep.
No, queen at g7
is g7 is the move.
Is the big problem. Knight to f5, protecting g7. Makes sense.
Queen a3.
So how desperate is Opper for a pawn? He can pick up a pawn if he really wants, with bishop takes a6.
Yeah. I guess he went rook d1 feeling he wants to follow it up. But knight at f5 is now covering g7. That's why I think queen a3. Ooh, queen at b. He spotted something. He's going to sack on c7. That's what he spotted. So pawn at c7, knight takes c7. If bishop takes, queen takes, king takes c7. Bishop at b6 check, stopping the king from retreating to d8, and king b8, pawn at c7 mate.
Very nice.
Very nice.
So
if the king goes to e8, you just play queen h3 to try to get to f5 knight, I guess.
Yes, simple chess.
All right, let's see how Jasugi can swindle out of this one. It's a tall order.
True that. Wow, that would be amazing.
But it was a tall order the previous game anyway.
I thought so too.
There was nothing for white. There was nothing.
No. Yeah, fortune favors the brave in that case. I liked Kleerkast what you were saying. Queen h3 and threatening queen f5. Oh, this does it another way. It says, please take my queen. Please take my queen.
You're going to take with f maybe to open the rook. Yeah, the rook takes f7 maybe.
That's his idea.
Right.
f5.
Is this an automatic bishop f5?
There's knight at c7. There's... Yeah.
Well, I know, but the king was going to go to f7, so it was sort of like, if I go bishop f5 and rook f5.
But there's maybe queen takes c6 now and knight at d8.
Knight at d8 is mating. That's beautiful. And king g7, knight e8. Yeah, beautiful game. And look, for Opper to lose game 3 the way he did and just keep a level head and keep firing next game shows this is really solid in the head today. You just can't let that sort of loss lead to another 2 losses straight after.
That was a real charge of the cavalry we saw there, wasn't it? I mean, it was like 3 knight mate. The knight coming to e8 is really pretty. Now, here I definitely think a7, a6 is really, a luxury you just can't afford in a queen pawn opening. Look at this. G6. Okay, not guessing black's moves whatsoever.
Yeah, once you've committed to a6, when the a6 is a commitment to stop bishop b5, then you have to play for it, right? And if bishop b5 comes, it's also very annoying. So probably you just wait with knight c6 in these types of structures, because he just felt b5 is weak.
The bishop at b7 is picking up a pawn.
Bishop in b7 is really, really strong. And I'm liking white because he's going to play bishop on f1 takes a6 as well. Okay, this is...
I'd take with a b7 bishop and then just retreat it and have a bit of a chuckle at black's knight on a5.
True.
So knight at b4, really looking to hit a6. Bishop has returned.
So
okay, and Opper can develop now, but he's just a pawn down.
What is the knight on a5 doing for the rest of the game?
Yes, Neil, you took the word, in the words of Meatloaf, you took the words right out of my mouth. It's not just the pawn, it's that stupid knight on a5. But, look at this. c6, c5. With understanding.
D4.
With understanding.
So, he's heard you, Neil. He's saying, well, that knight's going to c6, then it's going to d4, then f3, and mate.
Okay,
and then every beginning Crazyhouse player is putting a knight on a5.
I remember that World Championship match where opperwezen put a knight on a5 and won 20 moves later.
We have a generation of Crazyhouse players that have been warped by knight on a5.
As Oscar Wilde once said, the most important things cannot be taught.
You must experience.
This creativity cannot be emulated.
No.
At your own peril.
Yeah, knight takes d5. Okay, I really thought he was going to take on d4 and just say, okay, I've lured the bishop away. But no such musings. Okay. I'm still liking white a lot. I'm seeing pawn to g5, pawn to h6. It may be slow, but I think it's getting there.
I don't think it's slow. I think it's faster than any of black's plans. Even though it's not like an immediate thing, it's a very easy, clear plan for white to to proceed. So you do have to do bishop at b7. I like because knight takes e7 is a sack that goes in hand with pawn at g5. So that's a bit of a deterrent to say, well, I get to look at g2 as well.
There's one pawn down, but there's still two left in hand.
Yeah.
g5, h6.
Exactly. Okay. Making a stand as best he can is Opper, as he's threatening knight takes d5, which we don't want to allow.
Yeah, black's got mobility here. Is black's a pawn down, is also down the knight on a5 in a way, but very safe king. We're looking at maybe a knight on g4 doing something, covering h6.
Some kind of damage, yeah.
But yeah, if like pawn at e4, it's like pawn at c4 possibly.
Yeah, I'm thinking. Oh, okay. Well, this is
direct,
hyper aggressive. Maybe a really good move when you start to look at it. By the way, I mean,
he wants to go take on f7 and then go Yasser's idea of pawn at g5 and pawn at h6, because then the dark squares will become very weak. And if you take on f7, there's bishop e6, knight g5, and just infinite pressure on f7.
Exactly.
Yeah, I'm thinking queen takes d5 here just to support e6, and then rook takes f7, and yeah, he's taking the pawn though.
That was a great deal that White just made, because, and unfortunately for White, the pawn on d5 was really a target. And he's just transferred this target pawn to this very nasty pawn on e6. That really, that's a brutal pawn. Mom was looking at bishop f7 check, king h8, pawn g5, knight takes e3, pawn to h6. It almost feels like even that could work.
I have a feeling that this move is mainly intended to bolster h6 and not so much to threaten on e3.
Maybe like a pawn at g3 is coming in if you get a bishop on a good day to support that.
Yeah, sort of luring Jasugi maybe also to take on g6 in some cases, and then if a queen trade happens, black has some counter chances on h2 going on.
And there you
exactly,
go.
pawn at g3.
Yeah.
Queen good now.
Queen good.
Yeah. Queen good. Was it necessary
knight
for
c4
White to react to that
knight c4
on g3?
Make that knight resource. That's a beautiful resource. Now, it's move 23, and that was the plan with knight at a5 a long time ago.
Good plan.
Yeah,
good plan.
Exactly.
Good plan.
Now knight takes b2 is on, knight takes d3, and an important attacker is removed.
Yeah, how dare we laugh at knight at a5? Black looks just fine here.
I'm not feeling it. I still feel like
bishop at d5, for example. Combined with this idea, and pawn at h3 and bishop d5.
Okay. I was about to say, I thought that Black's position was a little rotted at the foundations, but
it's got to move here. We're not trying to find mate. We've just got to consolidate. Okay, it's going to c6. That's interesting. Why
c6? Why
wants to leave d3 open, perhaps? Queen takes d3.
Queen takes d3.
Yeah.
He had that last
rook
move.
d1?
Queen takes d3 was
d1?
Now queen takes d3. You fork the two rooks, but the problem is now the f3 is opened
g1.
Up. Bishop g1. So you're right though. That's why he wanted queen takes d3.
So I
look at the knight on d4 is very good defending h6. Nothing happening there. Pawn at f7. I'm just going to h8, and my king is safe.
Yep.
G2.
So now something on the background. Pawn at e2. Strong. Very strong.
Very strong. Uh-oh. It's a blitz.
He's made sure g1 mode. Is defended, but is it enough? He has
Watch out for queen at f7 though.
Oh yeah, yes. Pawn at f7.
Queen f7 is a nasty.
Do you get the feeling Opper's put his cards on the table too early?
Yeah, he's kind of cashed in a bit, hasn't he? And look at this. It's going to be a rinse and repeat on the g8 square now.
Oh, Jasugi's getting away with this one. Now knight at g5
feels like,
is...
oh yes, it's over now. But White's king is tremendously safe suddenly. I mean, it really turned once again.
Oh,
ooh, rook takes
brutal.
d5.
Yeah.
Look
Brutal.
at that. How nasty. Oh.
Jasugi's
thought
just...
after pawn at e2, Opper had that one.
Okay, that was great form. That's just great form by Jasugi there.
There's not just
That was
enough
amazing.
to defend and still maintain some
knight
kind
at
of threat.
h3 was a great defensive move. It really crushed the attack.
But it's kind of like I said, you can't go at Jasugi trying to mate him. You can, but you know there was that game Opper won just previous where he pulled the trigger at exactly the right time. But you know you felt like Opper was just maneuvering him better in the middle game, and you kind of have to just sit on him and never go for that knockout blow in a sense. From a practical perspective, I feel.
Wow, what a game. What a game. These middle games, by the way, I'm a real fan of Black's position. A knight for the pawn, but a very safe Black king. I like these middle game positions for Black.
So let's just be clear. This is Jasugi playing d6 on move 2. We didn't see that yet.
Exactly.
It was opperwezen doing that in a previous
He's
set.
borrowing his idea. He's saying, good idea. Let me use it myself. Now, rook g1, that's a big compromise too. I feel from White having to compromise with a move like rook to g1.
Yeah, well,
but it does create chances on the g8 king, right? There's no pieces in front of it. It's just a pawn on f6.
Well, for example, Kleerkast, he takes on g2, rook takes g2, pawn in hand goes to g5.
Oh no, bishop at f3 against h takes g2. Because knight at f3 or pawn at f3 is too big.
H takes g2, you have to play bishop e3 first or something like that. Or bishop fe3.
e3.
You cannot allow pawn at f3 already, I think. Or is he going to play rook takes g7? So therefore pawn at g5 was your idea.
Yes. Because I thought that the pawn goes to g5, the knight goes to the pawn goes to g5, the knight goes to h4, and it's just sort of like Black gets all of his attack with tempo. He went pawn to g6, the fortress, huh? I like that.
I think he's respecting knight h5, and Jasugi actually defeated opperwezen by taking on g7 and kept hammering that idea home. So
I like this 97 as well. He's trying to reroute it to f5, where it's also helping with the defense. It was doing not much on d4 or on c6 anymore.
I completely agree. I think the knight e7 is an excellent move, and I also like this move very much, knight h4, in order to eliminate that light squared bishop, which is actually defending a lot of nice squares. Ooh, he gave up the rook, allowing rook g1 check. I guess he wasn't concerned about rook g1 check. I would have been concerned about
I think he was going
to
play bishop e2 back to f1, probably.
Yeah, which is great, right?
Yeah, it's nice.
Yeah. Sure. I don't care what you do. Go retreat. Nice. Queen d6. Eyeballing queen f4. I don't know. That's strange. I like knight f5 instead of queen d6, but okay, he stutter step to get there. And now you understand why I like the rook on g1, just to be as annoying as I possibly can.
Yeah, exactly. And this is going to be hard for both to break through. Not a lot of pieces in hand, and the pawn trades are not so easy here. And usually you like to poke with pawns, right?
Exactly. How about knight g2, bishop on hand to g4, trying to provoke f3?
Yeah, could be. But what if f3?
Yeah, I was starting to think about queen sacrifices suddenly, but okay, maybe it's nothing is there, and he said there's nothing there. The problem, what I wanted to do was there was a rook coming to e1 because black had a rook in hand.
Yep.
That was why I was thinking knight g2, bishop g2, and bishop g4.
And queen takes f4.
Yes.
I think that was a reasonable idea, yes. In fact, in this sort of position, I'd hand it to you to come up with the right strategy to break through. We can't see any two-ply attack here, so we need to roll out the strategic guy.
If you guys have noticed, I've surrounded myself with my homies. So you guys are out there to protect me and help me. Don't be saying I got to come up with something. No. That's why you guys are here. Oh,
well, coming all the way back to this move, pawn at e3, it seems like Opera is saying, okay, I'm just going to play ultra solid and come and get me.
Yep.
Well, guess what? Jasugi is saying, I'm coming. h5, h4. I'm going to break through the house here. I like it. This is very aggressive, but I like it for black.
It's contained aggression. So keep yourself fully fortified first, and then slowly push forwards. Jasugi's playing a great game here, I think.
Jasugi is,
I do too.
But so is Opera. I mean, look how slow Opera's going. He's going, I'm going to play a4, so you can't play queen takes a3, then I'm going to play rook b1. And white wants a pawn for e5, so actually he's like, take my knight on g3.
I would be very, very, very happy to take the knight on g3 and pop.
Wow, rook a1 right waiting move.
Oh, come on.
a5.
What is going on here? Take the knight and then put a knight on e4 and just claim. What did you guys call it? Assume.
Made by assumption.
Made by assumption.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, overkill, right? There's just too many black pieces in the neighborhood. This
is like where you see the computer start to repeat rook a1, rook b1, rook b8, rook a8. It's very unusual to see in Crazyhouse.
Wow, Crazyhouse was a static game.
Pawn at e6. So picking up g4.
But losing the knight for... Okay, we need... he's still trying to chew his way
queen
through
h3 maybe, in between.
Queen h3, there's a mate on...
Okay. Rook h8 was the plan, yeah.
Exactly.
d7 was covered twice.
Ooh.
Yeah, it wasn't winning, but then take on d7 and put a bishop on f5 was my idea.
Yeah, actually that looks bishop at f5. I didn't spot that.
Still right, yeah.
Still looks good.
Still a good move. If you need a pawn, you can take on b6, right? Rook a1, rook b1, rook a1 was very strong.
I'm beginning to feel white is fighting his way back. What? Knight? Whoa.
Yeah, this time is low.
That can't be right.
Oppa's exposing a few cracks, it feels. Oh, he's
Queen
taking...
h3. Oh, pawn h7 is the big threat.
That's amazing.
He
actually made a weakness on b6 by encouraging a5 with rook a1, and he has got some value out of that move.
He did indeed. Now it's time to... Yes, I was about to say something goes to g6. I wasn't sure if it was a bishop.
You just need to stop pawn at e2, and nothing will ever happen bad to white.
Funny you should mention that, but I do think pawn at e2 is a very serious threat.
Don't lose
that. What is going on?
He wants to provoke queen takes c7, so
the
rook doesn't hang.
Aha.
But you can, rook takes c7.
Time. Time's the big problem. Okay. Pawn to e6, knight to e6. No breakthroughs yet. There's
rook takes h7 is also on, by the way.
Yeah,
with knight to h8 check.
It's in white's hand.
h7 is a wonderful move. Rook h7
and knight at e5 as well.
Okay,
also
amazing game. Last under 10 seconds for both players, and we're on move 52, and still pushing here.
Is white.
But now queen e6 in between was coming. Yeah, but the rook's only, right? And queen b5 should be the move here. Yeah, he finds it.
This is a position where you don't want a lot of space around your king. You want distance around your king.
Okay, made into or 3.
Well,
yeah.
Well, beautiful.
Okay, he finds
beautiful.
it. Nice.
Okay.
Opper with a slow grind. Amazing game. Amazing game. With rook a1, rook b1 starring, encouraging a5.
That a whole generation of players is being being maladjusted now. G6, these positions, I like this move, bishop to g5. Yeah.
I thought he might wait for e3 before playing g6 to close down that c1 h6 diagonal.
Right.
I actually like taking here before because you cannot take back with the pawn on f6 because of knight takes d5 and knight at e7. Right. But maybe bishop takes f6 is just fine. They feel, but
yeah, I'm happy with bishop takes f6 in those ones.
With the bishop on g4, bishop takes f6. Bishop takes f6 would have allowed knight h6 check, right?
Yeah, king h8 is okay there, I think.
No, the g4 bishop is hanging though, Justin.
Oh, sorry, you're going for a move earlier. Sorry, I was.
No, it's okay. It's okay. Knight e4. Okay. Well, that's a challenge. Kind of puts it in your.
Yeah,
face,
it's almost a must kind of move in these kinds of position to block the square e4. Otherwise, knight e5 is coming and stuff at g6 is happening. Probably.
It's too easy. It's too easy then for white. Okay.
Yeah, you have to blockade on e4 somehow.
Right. Knight g4. I assume that move is to try to discourage bishop to e4.
And he wants takes g4 and give me that h file.
Of course, like be kind. He is allowing knight d5, which Jasugi said, yeah.
Okay, I take and bishop at c6, but then he may have knight at h6 ideas. Okay, so he takes on g4 first.
Right, but this is what you just said, Kleerkast. Give me the mate along the h file.
Yeah, I'm already looking at bishop takes g6 here for white, for example.
Absolutely. Bishop takes g6. You can't take with the h pawn because of bishop h7. You take. With
you can't take with the f pawn either because of bishop at e6, and I'm gonna sack my queen. And mate by assumption, of course.
That's the way you like it. Nice. Yeah. Justin,
I'm like looking at knight at e5. I'm looking at knight at e5 here, but just queen h3.
Knight e5.
I guess you can grab d3. Yeah, I just feel knight at e5 is a bit of a desperate move, but we've got to keep some play. We've got to put some coverage on g6 for the reasons you guys have mentioned. And if there's some captures, there could be something on queen takes d5 in future. But
c6.
if there's a trigger to be pulled here, Jasugi will find it and pull it.
That bishop g6 looks really compelling to me. Bishop takes g6. How are we defending it? Not
bishop
a bad move, but bishop g6 really looked like
lights out.
It was over. Yeah, lights out. Thank you, Neil. Yeah. I was reaching for the darkness there. I did.
Okay, knight e5 is coming in now. So this is nice.
Okay, this is automatic, right, Justin? Queen takes e5?
I guess so, yeah.
Sacrificing the queen.
See, once upon a time when I started this channel many years ago, people go, what? Queen takes e5? Now it's like, oh yeah, there's no other move.
Standard.
Just sack your queen. Yeah. Like, come on, man, hurry up.
Right. And it's for that bishop on g7, which is such a super defender. He's first taking along the the check. Okay, he's done it in a different way for sure. But I did like queen takes e5 at once. But this is also just made by assumption, right? Just too many big guys over near the king.
I think knight at h6 had a big point actually. You were saying if king h8 there, queen takes d8 became available because of the queen at g8 smothered mate idea. So a subtlety, but I think important.
Ooh. Okay.
Okay.
Not the end of the world,
but that was
This is why you should sack your queen before you blunder it.
It's not intentional, and knight takes d4 is coming, so watch out.
This was not part of the plan. Let's say that.
No,
it was just a stolen queen.
But that was nicely done. I mean, the theft.
Sneaky oppa.
It was in broad daylight that it occurred.
Use these sneaky powers. Yeah, here's Jasugi. It's like, okay, let's keep a straight face. Okay, and give up the rook.
Part of the grand plan.
Yeah.
We're still a little bit worried about knight takes d4, so I would refortify it, and he didn't play. Kind of an ugly move, but it's actually got my vote. Bishop c3, you cover d2. You maybe on a good day get to play d4, d5, and a knight drops on f6 check. So I like this move.
Ooh, rook f4. Whoa. Handing it right back.
Oppa move.
Whoa. Okay.
So that actually makes a lot of sense. In a sense, black has to make something happen quickly before white can fortify too heavily.
And again, he doesn't have the right pieces in hand to just break through.
Yeah, so let's try to exchange something with rook at f4 or make a weakness on f3. So he has to come in fast. So this is why rook at f4 has been played. Nice move.
And the bishop is helping on h6 now as well, towards the king in some cases. Is he just going to take the pawn on g4?
Take a pawn on g4. We need some material in hand. And there's nothing in black's half of white's to worry about. So, you know, it's kind of like this first 30 moves has been just for black to not be in dodge, and then it's a new game to find a way into the king.
Okay, I like this move very much. Knight g4. That for me is a star move. It's the start of something towards the king. And Oprah didn't want to even see anything. It's like he's been snake bit, by
good practical decision. I think that's a really good practical decision. I don't necessarily consider queen takes g4 theoretically to be the best move, but with Jasugi low on time and to avoid being low on your time yourself, high pressure match. I think it's very sensible.
This would be a big steal if Oppa took this one, because Jasugi looked just absolutely crushing in the opening.
Yeah, Jasugi was dominating.
Yeah, he just missed the knight at f3 forking idea. I think he was winning.
He did.
I don't confess, I missed it too. I mean, that was an easy one to miss. Now that was strange because he could have played bishop takes d2 instead of this pawn to c4 move. I thought that was a little bit, but okay, rook to g7 check may have scared him. So, okay, guys, there you have it. He's playing for the, wow. C5.
He wants c5, but be careful.
No, that move's too slow. That move was way too slow. I didn't like that move, g5. I mean, something like queen to h3 to hit the bishop and just to, I don't know, put stuff on the board.
Move.
Oh!
Queen d7, I think.
Yeah, queen d7 was a move, at least to continue, and then think afterwards.
He got frightened about rook at g7 and two knights coming in on h5 and f5. Oh man. We didn't want to see that one. Bad.
Yeah, that one really, really hurt. Remind our viewers again, Justin, what what is the score that Jasugi needs to become world champion?
Well, he needs 7.5 points today, and he's got. He only needs 2.5 more points, and he's got 13 games to do it in. So it's looking like the writing is on the wall. But the fashion in which it's occurring, it's not like the games themselves are one-sided. You really have to fight for every match. It's wonderful we get to broadcast this, because otherwise, the scoreline would just look very one-sided, and you wouldn't know better.
And we have some viewers asking if we're gonna play all the games, but that's the plan. Even if the match is over, they're gonna continue.
Yep.
So 60 games.
What's really
whatever.
good about watching these players is that every single game has tension in it. There's been no total blowouts where one side's just crushed the other side and not allowed comeback chances.
Right.
Yeah. Absolutely, Neil. Exactly. I couldn't agree more.
Yeah, I feel like there's not much between the two of them, and it really come down to like a critical moment. Like we just saw a flag in a position where Queen D7, and it's anybody's game. All the games really have that closeness to them.
My goodness, another big donation. Matt Gardner has donated $100. Says, amazing commentary. Thanks all. These are huge donations, guys. Matt Gardner.
Baby.
Yeah.
I mean, Happy New Year, Matt. Come on. That's great. Now, what is this? Somebody help me out here. What am I missing? Queen E7. Queen E7.
Then Bishop takes D4, I guess. You want...
This is one of those cases where
takes E5.
Yeah, whatever
Bishop
you
takes
capture.
C6. Maybe Bishop takes C6. Maybe in between is something he's looking for as well.
Whoa!
I'm not sure.
I'm
lost in this position as well. I must
admit. No, I'm just saying that the pawn to E7 is like, I covet pawns. I mean, I'm the president and founder of the Pawn Grubber Society. I prize my gold membership card, the guy just throws away a pawn on E7,
like I have a feeling maybe he missed this line in particular. He was trying to mix it up, but Queen takes E7 was the
he was hoping to get in some knight CD5 perhaps, but it just wasn't working.
There's still some play here, so you've just got to see if ED is... Well,
wow.
He's looking for some knight D5. Take the queen, I think, and then recapture. Take the queen. Then knight takes F3. You can recapture rook takes E7 with check.
Well, I'm thinking take the queen, take on E7, put a pawn on D2 with check. You have to take it.
You could do that.
And then I'll take the knight with check.
I think this offers white a bit more to play for, rather than E takes D4.
Yes. Queen to G5.
I mean, I still think it's good for black, but
it looks great for black. Yeah,
it's just another way to do it. I think queen on G5, not so easy to hit. Like you can play knight at H3, but it's not hitting in the queen in a way that white wants to proceed.
Exactly. No.
So do you play Queen A4 here, maybe? To make white or black burn a piece on D7? I'm not sure.
I don't know. Queen A4.
Bishop at C6.
Yeah, bishop at C6.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, it's coming. But maybe he wants something with...
Like, what else can you do, though?
Yeah, knight at E7 ideas I want, of course, next. And knight at E4 as well, maybe.
Bishop C6. Well, my goodness. Okay. Take it.
Well, you're calling it much clearer than the rest of us. Click.
Yeah, it's just I don't like it for white, but we have to try something.
We have to try something, right?
Yeah.
I thought maybe pawn at D2 in between was a nice idea for black.
Knight D5, yeah.
Oh, knight D5.
A4,
He's
E8.
got rook E8 check as a possible source of play. But how many
Queen takes
pieces
h4 is on. Queen takes h4 is monstrous. That's very
Ooh.
resourceful. It puts a knight in hand and goes for the checks, but King d1 dodges everything.
Bishop to g5
yeah, bishop h6
check?
now. Yeah, or bishop g5, yeah. Just get safe first.
Exactly.
Bishop at g5, even queen g... No, bishop at g5. I like king d1
So you're just going to take the queen, bishop takes a4?
Yeah, that's what I think, because now you're covered
Bishop
back
takes
at home.
a4. Yeah, you covered all the diagonals. That looks good.
But king
I was
d1
thinking
kept the threat alive.
Queen d8. No, he did go for this line with, because he's threatening knight c4 check is black. So you have to take on e7 with check, and then seize the defensive. I don't know. This looks terrible for white.
I think it was still a live game with king d1, because bishop at g5
Instead
just
of
defends
taking
so
on
well.
d2,
Yeah.
I concur.
I'm actually surprised Opper didn't spot it. It's the sort of thing I would expect him to see.
Right. Now we're expecting knight c4, and you have to give up the queen because the too many pawns in black's hand. He would play d2 check and put a queen on the board. Okay.
Now he's trying for something, but king h8 and the bishop is just covering, right?
Mm-hmm.
You have to watch out for f7.
Yeah. Bad luck on that one.
Knight at g5 is possible. Taking the knight is also possible, probably.
I love knight g5.
At g5,
That feels just so good. You cover, you're protecting h7, f7, hitting f3 with a gain of time. Yeah, I love that move, knight to g5.
Can Opper swindle this one?
Pawn at g2.
That's a question. Whoa, pawn to e2. You were so close.
I was thinking pawn at g2. Me both.
Okay, once again, I
think bishop f3 takes e2. That's
my
yeah. You have to be certain there's no tricks of like knight at g6 coming if you sack too much knights, right?
Yeah. So no more knights in hand. So Opper's safe here. No, he's like, okay, I gotta cover g6 and f7. Okay, guys.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's be serious. Okay, knight to g4.
Queen at c1 was suggested in the chat. That would be nice.
Queen at c1 I think was mating actually.
Yeah, very nice.
Very nice spot.
Easy mate. That was well spotted, chat. What are you guys doing? I'm gonna. I mean, once again, the chat makes the best comment of the whole show.
Whoa! Knight takes
Whoa!
Oh,
yeah, same idea.
Yep.
Same idea.
Gotta run up. Time again.
Good. Well done.
Black had it in the bag there, I think.
Yeah, well done. That was nice.
6-2.
Well.
See, I guess to sum it up, where Jasugi is winning, it is not from a crushing piece of opening theory or winning from move one. It is when the battle comes down to crunch time and you've got to play clutch moves. You just back Jasugi. He is very adaptable to positions, and that's amazing. I mean, that's where we're seeing the strength come through, and Opper's very good as well in unfamiliar positions, but Jasugi coming out on top in these 60 games.
Yes. Yeah, no, I think that's you just put it very, very well in those clutch moments. Jasugi, he's got all the answers. I mean, amazing.
He's just deadly. It's like in tennis, if you need to pull a shot down the line or cross court just when you need it, or an ace just when you need it. It's like Jasugi's always there. He's just got that weapon.
Yeah. Nicely done. Knight f5. I love this move. I always feel like when I put a bishop on h4 and my opponent counters with a knight to f5, as we're seeing, I just feel like, gosh darn it. I mean, I just got really met very, very well, defensively speaking, with this knight to f5. I think it's king h1.
I'm not sure what the idea behind king h1 is, but I like the fact that he's not instantly trading. He's waiting for black to do something about the position. If Jasugi was allowed, he was going to play rook g1 and queen f1 and say, okay, come at me, I'm forever safe. I'm going to put a bishop back on h2, and what you going to do?
Yasser had Justin and I rolling on the floor in our practice stream, when our practice Zoom session, when he said, well, I answer d4 with d5, and I just say, well, I'm better.
Why not?
Bishop at g3. That's an interesting
one. Yes. I guess he wants to meet king h2 with something like take the rook and pawn to h4? Or is that asking too much?
Looks okay.
Okay, he went bishop to h. So he wants to take the rook and put a pawn on g3. That's the thing that black has to, that white has to deal with.
Yeah, I feel
you want to preserve the pawn, maybe for pawn at b4 in some cases, to get the knight away from c3, so your f6 knight can jump to e4.
Okay.
It's also an idea here.
Yeah, that's a very clear idea. I was just going to say, I feel like bishop at g3 came about just instinctively. Like, I think Opper said, well, my development's complete and I have to do something. There's a hole on g3, and it's not necessarily something calculated. It's just instinctive that's a way to move.
Okay. What's your instinct now? Tell you, Justin.
Well, that's why I went for that comment, because I don't see something calculated. And
like rook g5, take on e5 maybe in a, and then you have knight f5, bishop g3, knight takes e3, something like that.
So king h2, rook takes.
Oh no, king h2, possibly
h2
bishop.
Oh, king
bishop
h2,
Yeah.
Okay,
so
very
block,
good. So
block
you have
probably.
to block with
or
a
king
pawn.
f2. King f2 might be on his mind as well.
And get on your running shoes.
Yeah, the point is, if pawn at g4, you block off the bishop's cover on h5, and then knight h5 check becomes your mechanism to get a bishop on
h2.
g3.
Wow.
Take
I'm
rook
not
takes.
sure I'm a fan of this. I get the pawn. Okay,
pawn at
but
f4,
now he's got a chance to block on f4, yeah?
Then take on c3, and knight at g3, knight at e4 looks promising for black.
Knight at d2 is another option.
Mm-hmm.
So if I block
or h2, knight h2 even.
Wow, so opting to allow pawn at h2 for king f2, because we're not going to h1 because of knight at g3.
But what about knight e4 or knight g4, queen h4? He runs to e2, I guess.
Yeah, then he gets on his sneakers. Yeah.
They're still looking for something
knight
like
g3.
Knight at g3 is a nice move.
G3.
You want to promote in the corner to a knight, so the knights cover each other.
Do you just take e5 here?
Ooh, what about
and
d4
and then sack the queen on the promoted knight? Is that the idea?
Yeah, that's the idea, I guess.
Yeah, because black doesn't have as much, so it's probably knight takes f1, rook takes f1, and d4.
That was what I thought was the problem for.
So knight at e3 covering against something.
Can you go knight g4 now
checks.
and queen h4 and then sacrifice? Probably not. But
we're running
he's
out of
thinking
pieces quickly, though.
Yeah,
that's a lot of pieces.
I think knight e4, you get the recapture.
Yeah.
This
makes sense.
That's why I love being a commentator. I mean, I can throw a box load of pieces. Like, sacrifice, get rid of it,
You turn around in your chair and there's even more pieces there in the counter. Give me more pieces.
Now queen h4 is begging to be played, and it has been played.
But pawn at h7 we got to look out for.
We take on g3 and maybe knight to g5?
I feel like there's something that can snap in the position here.
Yeah, it feels like there should be a backbreaker. I agree with that.
It's like when you say your spidey sense is tingling.
Yeah. Feels like
So is it a full-blown sack on G3? Can we go all in?
Is it maybe H1 knight?
Yeah, there's something with an H1 knight. That's what I'm looking at.
Getting the rook off F1 and defending there. But okay, don't waste too much time here. Probably.
I don't think I would invest this much time, but I am looking at bishop G3, knight G3, knight G5 to cover H7. And as you're saying, gentlemen, to start to sacrifice with queen D2 check type of things and queen takes G3. Okay, I think it's a very practical decision, I must say. Ooh, he did it a different move order. Rook E2, knight G5 then?
We've got to look at Jasugi's clock now. Okay, so...
bishop H7.
No, king H8 is...
I think Queen E2 was a little bit too...
Unnecessary?
Queen D2 was unnecessary. Yes, thank you, Neil. Say it.
Bishop G1, probably.
Bishop at G1? We've got to go bishop at G1 here. I think he's just missed it.
But he's got same ideas of knight E4 check. Look at this, guys.
Yeah, Black's still in the driving seat here with the initiative.
He certainly is. He's got knight E1, knight G1 check. Also. Whoa! What was that? Holy
Bishop
smoke.
at G1, H1 queen, I think is his idea.
Bishop.
Yeah, and
bishop takes E3 is fine too.
I was going to say
white misses a knight.
Yeah, that knight on G5. What a monster.
Seriously good. That's good stuff.
Right, you can ignore that pawn on G6. You can just play on white's king, I think.
Ooh, watch out for stuff now. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, has he...
No, there's nothing for white.
There really is... Oh,
just
that's nasty.
Rips E7 and resigns.
Rips E7. Ouch.
Knight at C4. Yeah.
I was thinking
very nice from Oppa to liquidate the attack like that.
Look at the safety of Black's king.
Yeah, rook on the back rank. Nice.
Nicely done. Beautiful play. Beautiful play by Oppa.
They say, I mean, the game plays itself. That's...
What? Bishop D6? Why did he need bishop D6?
He wants to take another pawn.
Well, he had a bishop aiming at the H4 square, so it was like really nice, that bishop on E7.
Knight at F1 mate. I'm coming in.
Yeah, good.
Oh,
G5 to finish.
Whew.
He was really worried about flagging like he did a couple of times in almost winning positions.
Right.
Yeah. Oppa's still fighting. Okay, so we're seeing bishop G5.
Bishop G5.
Yeah, well, a few of your ideas have been played here, Yasser.
Getting tested. Yeah.
Okay, 10 wins in a row, Upper. Let's go. And then a draw on the last game.
Right. And the adoption is completed. H3. Well, that's practically forcing bishop F3 there, because if the bishop were to move bishop B5 and knight E5 is clear advantage white. So takes, and I guess he's thinking, because he's a little bit worried about bishop F6 and knight D5. Is that?
Yeah, that seems like a good guess.
Did we just steal D5 here?
I'm thinking bishop to A4. No, he
come on, yeah. So you're president of.
I am. But there was something. I love those pin knights on C6. They just they disturb my opponent so much.
Well, you need to start a new foundation, knight pinning foundation, and you need to evaluate that as more than a pawn.
Well, let's not get crazy. I'm looking. How do I get play for black here?
Bishop at e6 runs into knight takes f6 ideas as well, so you have to be careful about f6. So bishop g7 feels like forced, yeah.
Okay, so if I go bishop a3, you would probably just put a bishop on d6, I'm guessing. And I could go pawn to c5 and just really prepare a safe king castling long. But okay, I like bishop d3, of course. Nothing wrong with this move at all. Fact,
I'd just be getting a bit depressed as black here, actually. If I was playing against Opper, I just feel knight takes d4 is probably, something. But then, queen takes b7 is at the end of that, and I think Opper will just say thanks. We'll grab another pawn for the pawn grabbing society. And
yes. Yeah, I like it. I'm with you 100% there, Justin. Queen takes b7 and just saying, in the immortal words of Grandmaster Larry Evans, what you got? I remember the first time I played Dirty Jim McCormick. He was state champion of Washington and terrorized the locals with his retreating style. I was like 14 years old, and he played a move like queen b7, and I played rook b8. He played queen a7. And while playing the move queen a7, Dirty Jim announced, "Give me your pawns, baby." The queen wasn't trapped. It's like, damn, these guys are good. 2 minutes to 2 minutes 20 seconds to 50 seconds. I think that speaks for itself.
Yeah, Opper's just saying I'm a piece up here. I'm just gonna castle. There's nothing on the king. You can't roll that fortress too quickly. So you consolidate your own king side first. Be patient.
Pulling out the d4 opening when it's do or die. Perhaps he could have tried it a bit earlier in the match.
Indeed. I think the timing there.
I mean, we're still early in the match. It's just that we had to go really early, given how far back Opper is. Yeah.
Pawn to f3.
Jasugi's put in a whisper. Yikes! This is bad.
Guess who just woke up? I was about to say bishop to h5 there a moment ago. Kind of had my attention. But, I like what white has done as well.
Yeah, if now he takes on g6 and there's just defense on the light squares. So I don't know about this. How are you going to break through?
I was about to say bishop to h4 again. A moment before bishop h5, pardon me. If I'm going to take on f3, I would like to take with the bishop, not with the queen. But now I feel black's still in it. I don't know. Okay.
Yeah,
similar ideas to bishop h5. Sorry, Justin. Yeah.
I like bishop at h5 better than pawn at f5 actually. Like f takes g2, queen takes g2, and then there's another hit on g6.
Exactly.
But by the time the white bishop is on f5...
But here, I mean, the problem is black really has to stop bishop g6. It's just such a massive threat that there goes his attack with 8 seconds. 8 seconds.
Yeah,
Wow.
this is a good move, though. Knight g5 might follow.
Right.
Knight at g5.
Got to stay competitive on the diagonal.
Yeah, and if white tries bishop c6, you just repeat.
Can I play bishop takes and h5?
I'd look at pawn at h5 straight away. Yeah.
Straight away. Okay. Okay, now do I take twice on e4? No, I take twice on e4. Draw?
So this pawn at h5 was to close down the f file.
Oh, he's allowed.
Oh, he's allowing
the
G6.
breakthrough on G6. I thought he was going to play Bishop F5.
But all the knight
But
squares
all
are
the knight
covered,
squares are covered. That's why you can't play knight at F4.
Oh.
and you don't have a rook.
Right.
Because I
If
would
you
sack
put
all
on
and go pawn
G4.
h5 and pawn g4, and I'm gonna mate you, but I don't have a rook.
Good point.
Yeah, so he has
Oh,
to
he
go here.
preserves
Now
it.
knight at e5.
Knight at E5.
Yeah.
Black's making progress now.
Queen G3.
But see, white was just a piece up, and Jasugi has found a way to.
Remarkable. It's just
You know?
it's just amazing that he finds things that aren't there. I mean, it's like he conjures up stuff. Whoa!
He knows he's
allowing
safe after the
takes
sack on
G2.
G6.
Oh my God. Okay, the game has turned completely around, and now it's in Black's favor. Oh my word. Oh my word. How did
Jasugi's
that
got a
happen?
safe king and a hinted attack. Like, you can nearly picture rook at G5 would be reasonable. He also has to
I
not
like
lose
this,
on time.
Just not allow any stuff on g6 in time trouble.
I
You
think
might
so.
forget about the knight drops that you covered before,
F4.
and now he's safe.
I
Grab
love
G6,
F4.
pawn at
F4 is
H5.
such a big move.
Yeah.
Now you can go pawn to G3. Oh, even better. And rinse repeat with the pawn on F3. Ooh.
And resigns.
Oh,
Ooh.
resigns.
Oh my God, that was another steal.
But see, bishop at H5, I think, was still in white's favor. But once the first bishop went from D3 to F5, then bishop at H5 wasn't an option.
Right.
And you could have just been patient, like you said. Try to play bishop takes F3, just not let anything happen. Yeah,
Wow.
damn.
Again,
Jasugi very strong.
moments. Just those critical moments again.
So when you
It's
steal
very
a pawn
rich.
like that on b7, you don't want a flurry of trades because it helps your opponent.
Mm.
They'll keep putting pieces on to harass your queen, like what happened in the game.
Wow. Geez, guys. Well, what can I say? That was another one that really felt like it got away there.
This knight takes
And
F7.
f7.
It just looks so juicy.
I'm gonna go for knight takes f7 here every day.
It's like I'm going to highlight it on the screen because that's all that Kleerkast and Mugwort and myself can see right now. Is knight takes F7.
The blinders are on. You know.
I've been playing it since I was 10 years old in Bughouse.
The future is so bright.
It was normally on move 3, though.
I don't know if any of you have seen this movie called Rounders. It's about poker players, and there's a character, Teddy KGB, that he opens his
John
Oreo
Malkovich.
cookie. I felt like Jasugi was just opening his Oreo cookie before he played knight takes F7 there, and he's the new champion. That's it.
Yeah.
We'll play all the matches.
Congratulations.
Congratulations, Jasugi99,
Wow.
deserving champion. Fantastic performance in the candidates this year. Averaged 8.5 out of 10 versus an incredible field. 10-0'd, or adopted, as we like to say. 3 players. He adopted 3 players in the candidates, and these are cream of the crop players in the community. So well done. Well done to Jasugi99.
Yeah, the tip of the hat. Very, very deserving.
So
Wow.
we'll get to the pleasure to commentate on a lot of games here where I actually think Opper will come out swinging really hard.
I can let loose now. There's no more pressure.
Yeah, we're gonna see 1b3, that kind of stuff.
Okay, let's go for it. So here, I always kind of feel like knight f4 is like an automatic move. I don't know how you guys feel, but I don't like putting a pawn on g2.
I'm the same. I've seen Jasugi with the reverse colors play knight at f4 in this position.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, or bishop at g4. Something that does things on the light squares.
Right.
Nyan Gao with a donation, $11.18, says, I can hardly follow what's going on, but that's beyond the point. Great job, and great love for the game, guys. That's such great to have that support. Thank you.
We feel the same, maybe.
At times,
Sometimes.
yes. Yeah.
Thanks.
Definitely. Okay, so this is the problem that Black is facing. Now he needs a big follow-up. And bishop takes f1. King takes f1. I don't want to lose my d4 pawn.
Yeah, so there's bishop takes f1, rook at e1.
That's
you
what
can
I
hold on
wanted
to the
avoid as
d4
well.
pawn. I was
Well,
looking
you
at...
want,
I was looking at
e1,
queen...
You want to move the bishop?
Rook e1, I might play knight at h6 first.
Okay.
But I'm not entirely sure. I think I'm safe back home.
I was just going to play queen takes f1, allow knight takes d4, and play pawn at h6, because we had quite a lot of coverage on the light squares already. So yeah, conceding a nice pawn, but we could be conceding more here in terms of initiative.
But then some rook takes e2 ideas were maybe his concern. Don't think it's much, because the queen on f1 is doing a very good job defending.
So if knight at h6, what about some combination of knight at h3, rook takes d1 with the threat of knight at f3 check?
So you do that move order, so the pin of the f1 bishop is made useful on knight at h3 first. Possibly.
Yeah. I would have lost against Leo probably.
Is something in there for d7 instead of queen d2? A pawn at d7.
I'm looking at pawn at g2 here.
Pawn at g2.
Yeah.
Trying to deflect that bishop away from f3 and h3 squares. I didn't like allowing this rook e1. I must say, I'm not a fan of this. Unless knight h6 is turning the tables, I'm not a fan of white's play.
Wow, Leechess.org rating with a party of 154.
Hey, welcome everyone.
Hey, very nice.
Okay, we've just seen Jasugi99 has taken the title. Big congratulations to him. He's already got 31 games out of 60 under the belt, but we're going to play all the games out and commentate on the remaining matches. Not as much pressure, so we could see some differences here in how things happen. So bishop d1, just keeping an eye on f3, but now h3 is open.
h3 is indeed open.
Yeah.
If we go knight h3, king g2, queen h4.
Exactly. I was thinking about something like that as well. And at a good moment, you're gonna take on f1 or d1 to get rid of some light squares defender.
Exactly. And also with knight h3 and queen to d4, I'm eyeballing the d4 pawn.
Yeah,
it's
queen h4.
It's clear.
Queen takes d4. Well, the queen trade has a little bit to do with it as well. Yeah, so let's be honest. So
a queen is just a pawn gone mad, basically. Didn't know his place.
This is also
back to
Defending
g1.
is so hard in Crazyhouse. Huh?
Knight takes d4 here.
Knight takes d4 is the key move.
Pawn at g2.
Pawn at g2. Yeah.
Oh boy.
You've got to take d4, I think.
The rook takes f1 actually after queen takes d4.
Ah, yes. Pawn at g2, rook e1.
Much more convincing. Nice. So g2 was box, as we would say.
You need to play that one. So retaining the same threat.
Same idea of rook f1 is on the board. Ooh, this is where the computer usually mates me because I suffocate myself.
Rook takes d1 almost on here, but the knight is still covering.
Yeah. I feel like there should be a taser.
There's knight f3, which is coming in.
Knight f3.
Yeah, exactly.
But now rook takes f1 is not mate, but h takes g2 still incredibly strong. And then if bishop
queen,
but
G7?
Queen takes g7. Ooh, you think he can run to e7?
See how the rooks on the e file cover the escape over to e7, d7, c8.
Yeah. Very nice.
That's-
Always play rook e8, right? Kramnik
Yeah.
would love this game.
Yeah. Why is our bishop on d1? Bishop h6, rook e1 check. It's so pretty, but the bishop on d1 interferes.
Yeah. That
What
king
they
is
did.
getting away.
Bishop g5, king d7, pawn at c6. He might try still. And
On at c6. Ooh.
to provoke takes, and
Yeah.
then knight at c5, and then there
Yeah.
might be some weird
Yeah.
drawing mechanism with knight b7.
It's still live. I think that's why
Okay,
he's playing
F6.
f6. Keep the king on the king side.
And he's gonna
So
walk to
I think
g6.
to
maybe.
g6. Yeah. No, why did he go
Okay.
to d6?
What?
Knight b5 now,
Guys,
right?
is this
Pawn at
like,
d5.
But if you drop the knight, then I run to e6 and f7.
Ah, yeah.
oh, this
So-
is a cute way of getting him to
very,
burn pieces.
very cute. Yeah.
Ooh, time.
Ooh, time again.
Yeah, if knight at g5, then he was safe on d7.
Well,
Yeah.
was that final position so clear, everybody? If he goes knight f4 check and knight takes g2, knight in hand goes to f4 check. The king has to go to d7 or f7. I go knight takes g2. My bishop on d1 protects f3, so there's no knight h3. Knight g2 is.
He may not have been made it on the spot there, but I think material advantage would be in favor of black.
Agreed. Yeah, it should. Wow. Okay. Whew.
See, all that because I think queen takes f1 instead of bishop takes f1 would just not allow rook at e1. It's just it was a lot more than the pawn on the d4 that white gave away there.
Yeah, chat is already saying rook takes f1 was made if knight f4 takes g2 in 5
Thank
moves
you.
or something. Yeah.
Thanks, Ishan. You know, guys, this is a very bad sign. I'm believing the chat a lot more than I'm believing my homies here. This is not. It's not a good look. That's all I'm saying.
Well, it's the first. It's one of the first subscribers ever to JannLee's channel, so he's been around for a while. He knows what he's doing.
Okay.
Learn from the best.
There you go. Nice. Okay, Kramnik's move, rook e8. We don't know why, but the rooks belong on the e file. It's just the way these things work.
Mhm. Yeah, maybe he wants e5 on a very good day, but I like a6 probably as well as an idea to stop bishop b5 and trade and knight e5.
Mm-hmm.
But this h4 and g4, that seems a bit thematic in these openings. I see that a lot, but I'm not really a fan of it as black. I like this ideas for white usually. Because
I preferred
because of
e5
pawn
over
g6.
g4.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Why did he recapture with the bishop and not the knight?
I think he was scared of knight f4. Knight
Yeah.
f4 was coming, and that was really strong.
Okay.
It's still coming now, but now the knight is
And it
at
was
least
striking,
covering.
huh?
And then we had a double
Okay.
attack with the queen and the knight on h5.
Okay. Asked and answered. I'm a little bit worried about ideas like knight d5 and knight h5, but since e3 is soft, queen d2 with the ideas of that combination.
Oh, I like
I
knight
just mentioned.
knight c3 takes d5.
Yes.
I like, and then knight takes h5, and then you have a pawn on h5 and a pawn on f7, and there must be something going on there.
Well, right, but the problem, Kleerkast, is that knight d5, knight d5, knight h5, there is a knight takes e3.
Okay.
That was why I was making a preliminary queen move, but nothing preliminary about bishop takes g6. That was like bang, let's go. Okay.
He wants
I
bishop at
assume he
e6
wants-
anyway.
Right. I assume he wants bishop. Oops. He wants bishop at f7.
I like black here.
Okay. Because of
What
that
will Kramnik
move?
do here? Rook f8.
Yeah. No choice. Did you guys like pawn to e6?
No,
I
I'm not a
sure did
fan.
not. No.
Because black can now play bishop e8 or bishop h7 was also a move, and now white has no pieces left, so black gets some time.
Exactly. Very, very important time to consolidate. Yeah, I really thought that he was playing for h4 to h5 and getting more light squares, weaknesses. Nice play. I like knight h5 and queen c8 a lot. This really strikes me as great moves.
Bishop takes c7 you don't want to play, but maybe you have to if you want the initiative to keep going.
Taking on e6 for sure.
Yeah,
I'm not
exactly.
taking that bishop.
So white
Just
just
resigns.
resigns.
Just resigns. Yep. That's just so depressing that Jasugi's like, yep, okay, new game.
Okay, yeah, tip of the hat.
He's like, I've already won the championship, so yeah, we can get on to the next game.
Yeah. Oh.
F6, your favorite move, Yasser? F6?
No. Ooh. I got a chill. Went right up the spine, when I see the move like F6. I go, what? What?
So the background of that is, guys, in the chat is Yasser and I have played a number of matches, friendly matches, and every time I play F6, he's like, oh, I think you've just, played -2 moves or some comment like that.
Yeah, indeed. Okay, now, although we have a queen in the hand, it's not that exciting. I like this move. I was also looking at bishop to g5. Okay. This feels really like the way the game should progress. I take the pawn on e5 now, and
quick acknowledgement.
Pawn at f6 coming, knight at h5 coming.
Sorry guys, a quick acknowledgement to OKZH says I got to go. Thanks for all the great commentary. Thanks for helping with moderator responsibilities, and of course for helping to publish the blog and raise some awareness for this event. So thank you very much, OKZH. We appreciate it.
Yeah, there's even OK commands I made. Go check out his website, his Twitch as well.
Yep.
Especially
absolutely.
when you're a bit newer to Crazyhouse, he has a very nice introduction videos and stuff like that.
Oh, good. Okay, he has gone knight g4 a la tempo. Wow. Okay, didn't see that coming. I thought he was going to go for the knight h5, but that would have been met by pawn to g7, I suppose. Knight g4. How serious is this?
I don't know. Bishop g7 seems very natural. Knight takes c3 even now. Scary, but okay.
Ooh, I wouldn't play knight takes c3, but I wouldn't play pawn at d2 either. I'd just focus on recapturing f6. Attack is not in my head at the moment.
I was thinking rook takes f6 instead of pawn at d2.
Yes.
Yeah, rook takes f6.
Thank you, Neil. I'm a big fan of just sacking the exchange there. I like the minor pieces for coverage. Pawn to g5.
Pawn to g7.
Pawn to g7 is the only thing that comes to my head.
Yes, yep. That's
And bishop at f6 probably. He wants.
Whoa.
Oh, okay. Knight f7. Seems
now
like
that
a
is
good
really,
move.
Yeah, that's a really protecting.
dark squares. Yes. We'll,
yeah.
Bring everything back to the king.
Right. Well, if you give black the opportunity to play bishop in hand to g7, I'm going to say we've got the dark square. the defenders of the dark squares are out in force.
And yeah, so then White has to go via G6 and H7. He's trying it now.
Exactly. Rook to G6 check, a potential threat.
E4?
I like it. Not
E4.
don't take it.
Before we even
Well, he can't.
defending E6. Defending the E6 pawn. I think that was what that move was about. Ooh.
Oh, he wants rook takes F5, bishop G6 probably.
Bishop in hand to G6. I like it.
Yeah, bishop at
I mean,
G6.
I want to put a pawn down. But I was afraid of rook F5 and bishop to E6 if I took with the E pawn. But he did put a pawn down, which was useful, keeping the pieces in hand.
So how to continue here? H5 maybe?
H5.
H5.
Mm.
Yeah, and bishop at G6 and sack everything on H7 or F7. You need you need more material, right? You need the H file open.
Bishop takes F6, H5.
But I'm thinking I'm going to put a rook on G7 against the move H5.
Yeah, logical, but I'm still going to go bishop G6. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter.
Throwing the kitchen sink at you here.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, he did the knight G5 routine once more.
Yeah, now knight takes H7 is also a move, right? If you want, and then pawn at G6.
Yeah, I think that Upper has outplayed him in this last 10 move sequence or so.
Bishop takes G6 was on. Okay, knight takes G6. He takes the pawn.
Yeah, I like bishop takes G6 though.
I much prefer bishop G6. Threat because of the mate on H7.
Yeah, so he had to take with the knight, and then you take the knight on F7, and you have knight at H6. New threats coming, but okay.
The advantage Kleerkast has is he was only seeing a bishop on G6 the last 3 or 4 moves, so it was obvious.
Yeah, exactly. I was already looking for it.
But it came with the opening of the H file, and now I can't see that happening.
Guys, it's like the defenders of the dark squares are out in force. Look at this. Once again, we've got a
bishop at G7 for the nice for the picture,
aesthetic.
just for the picture.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
I can use that as the thumbnail for the for the video.
Okay, he goes bishop G7 back.
My favorite bishop setup has been when I once played a game. I had a bishop on E5, F5, G5, H5, or could have been on the 3rd rank possibly, but actually a row of 4 bishops and nothing to contest them, and there was no way you could put anything in there for 2 ranks.
And he just raked the board, right?
Yeah, we have
the 4 bishop attack.
The double bishop pair, yeah.
Nice, impressive. I like.
Ooh,
what's the idea behind this one?
Bit of crackle here.
Snack, crackle, pop.
Gotta be
You
careful.
want queen takes D8. Queen takes D8 is,
Yeah.
I guess, his idea. And knight at F7, I don't know.
Can you
Just
still
pawn
do
at
it? Queen
E6.
takes D8.
E6.
Just take D8 anyway.
Yeah, it's still possible, yeah.
Knight at F6 is on.
Whoa, D2.
Deflection of the queen, I mean.
Yeah, I thought he was going to play rook to D6 immediately to keep the pawn in hand, but I guess he felt that he didn't need it. Whoa, what's going on?
Jasugi just gaining time here with the pawn at D2 drops.
Okay,
Can you ignore rook at D6? Yeah, I was going to say pawn at E6.
looks good. Looks really strong, in fact. Oof, he's losing bucket loads of material.
Knight at E5 even now, maybe.
So you can put a rook on
you're looking for
H8.
rook at H8, yeah.
Yeah, and then king G7, I'm gonna go pawn H6.
Mm-hmm. The homies are back. Knight to
Yeah,
G5.
I took your comments to my heart.
Yeah, it's like,
I needed to step up my game.
Thank you. Yes. I was thinking knight to g5. There with similar ideas of rook to h8. It didn't go
Looks
in that
like
way
both
at all.
players are taking the time to stem their own bleeding,
Yeah,
so to speak.
I'm thinking Jasugi has come back.
Yeah, I think.
No, time. Look at the clock.
All right, sack. Go. Grab
Quickly.
e4.
Grab h5.
Pawn d2 first,
Once
of course.
again,
King.
that pawn on d2 is really.
Queen b4. He's gonna sack.
I don't think he's got enough to sack.
Yeah. Okay.
I would bait bishop
G7,
takes
maybe?
c3.
Yeah.
Bishop
Probably.
takes.
Dangle that
Maybe
carrot.
Queen takes e4. Yeah. Queen takes e4.
Queen takes.
Because if you have to put a knight on d8, it's just going to be lost in the end.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
Okay.
Defend. To d3.
d3. Similar idea. Oops.
Oh.
He found this. Queen takes
Actually,
e1. Rook e1, mate.
Oh, he found mate.
Mate.
Oh well. I
Queen
baited a
e1.
carrot and I lost the carrot. That's unfortunate.
Assumption, mate.
I defended by assumption, but mate by assumption was stronger.
Ooh.
Nice
That
flourish,
was
ass mate.
Yeah.
Yes.
That requires an adjustment to the jaw. That was hurtful. Ooh.
Yeah, he went too passive in the end, Opper. It's hard.
Imagine how Opper feels.
Yeah.
He's had his jaw adjusted for him.
It's been broken, adjusted, shattered, and cracked in many positions.
Yeah, big adjustments. Ooh. And again, that wasn't yet again another one of those games that really felt that could have gone either way. It just Jasugi just keeps coming through at clutch moments.
But it's tough because, in fact, if anything, Oppa that game did like the epitome of patience and waiting and not mating Jasugi, out of the blue.
Still didn't work.
And still didn't work.
Yeah.
I think that there was something in that queen takes d8 move. Queen takes bishop on d8.
I liked queen takes d8, yeah, where you just knight at f6 looked like it would be.
Right.
But even then, after that, it was still good for white.
One of the things we spoke about, Justin, in the very first day of our broadcast of this World Championship was the ability of the players to finish positions.
Absolutely.
I'm seeing greater defensive. Like I consider that game that we just saw a great defensive game.
Absolutely.
It was,
yeah.
It was like the players didn't see the finish in the kind of way that you were expecting this match to be decided.
Yeah, that is still the hardest decision at the top level, and I think Mugwort and Kleerkast will agree, where you really get tested at that point to say, do I go all in or do I have to defend here? And getting that wrong by just one move or missing your timing by a little bit is separating the great from the good players here.
We all know a diamond is the hardest substance in the universe. That looks like that's what Jasugi was aiming for, a diamond of bishops.
Yeah, that was nice. I must say that aesthetically, if he had gotten that 4 bishops on the dark squares,
and the knights on d8 and h8 covering the light squares.
Yeah, that would have been fabulous. Yeah.
Ooh, sneaking in on d5, but still, there's 2 knights on offer here.
By the way, I really like this move, e7, and it came almost like in a blur. Like, I was always going to play. I was never going to take the knight. I'm going to take the knight on e5, but I wasn't going to take the knight on d5.
Yeah, and then maybe bishop takes e3 next. Okay, so he doesn't take on e5. Then I wanted to play bishop takes e3.
Exactly.
I like black here.
Again, me too. these are the positions where, like, dropping a bishop in on g5 and just saying, fortify everything around my king and be happy. He took on d4. Okay. So, obvious question, if you take on d4, what's his intention, guys?
You take on e3.
No. I'm saying e3 takes d4.
Yeah, knight takes d4 and sack the queen on e7, of course.
And you sack the queen on e7, of course.
Okay, that's the intention.
See, the benefit of being a commentator is you can throw out these wild moves, and if they work, you look like a genius. And if they don't, well,
Exactly.
you didn't lose the game.
Hey.
So, yeah.
Right, and it was the other guy's fault anyway. I mean, he shouldn't have been inspiring you in the first place.
It's like playing Bug House without having to play your board. You can always blame your partner.
Very important.
Yeah.
Very important.
On a5, I like that. The dark squares were covered by the knight on e6 and the bishop, and now the dark squares are a bit softer. And the light squares might be available soon.
Yeah. Oh, now rook f3 for me is automatic. Just because I love the bishop as a defender. Well, never mind. It was great.
H4.
I was playing. Ooh.
Okay.
It was great. I'm playing Bug House with Levon Aronian. And Levon.
Which one of you is getting pulled over by the cops?
Yeah, right. Yeah. Other house, two doors down. They're playing Crazyhouse, you know, like arrest them. Shouldn't be allowed.
It's in the Netherlands now. They are not allowing fireworks, and everybody is doing it anyway.
Oh, right.
So that's why there are a lot of cops around.
Right.
Yes, it's true.
And I guess Hilversum is a bit more criminal than Groningen.
Hey, speak for yourself. We're law-abiding citizens over here. Are you kidding me? We've got issues. I like knight e2 check. What's going on with knight e2 check?
Whoa, queen takes h6? Oh, he's got knight at e2, knight takes g4. He can pinch the queen back. Ooh.
Yeah.
That's very opperwezen.
I think it was actually mate as well in some cases.
So knight e2 check, king h1, and take on d5. Well, knight e2 check and take on.
No,
it may not be mate.
It doesn't matter. Bishop at g7 is always going to be safe.
Right.
So now he wins knight at e2, knight takes g4. He can win the queen by force.
That's a good start.
Could be looking for more. That's fine. Knight takes g4 is.
Knight takes g4
is all good.
Is all good, right. But he might be looking for a mate. But
not necessary.
I'll just. I don't know. I'm not sure. I like knight g3 in between because there may have been some stuff on h5.
Yeah,
right.
Always
I like
g7.
knight e4 check as well. Knight e4.
It's like in your heart, you know it's not mate, but you still do it anyway.
Yeah. You're playing versus Jasugi. Be careful.
Be careful. That's right. Anyway, to complete the story, so Levon Aronian, we're playing Bug House together in St. Louis, and he's playing not only for himself but also for his partner.
Right.
Take the bishop, take the knight, take the rook. He's telling his partner what to do, and he blunders mate and one.
on his partner's board.
Levon.
On his partner's board or on his own.
Yeah, on his partner's board.
Oh,
he blunders mate and one. That's Levon. So what does Levon say? You get it. You guessed it. What were you doing?
Exactly.
What are you doing? You can't play like this. I thought this was so good. This was so grandmasterly. I mean, I just like, that was the best.
No, we know Levon from the Bug House community. He a number of years back was playing with all of the top players. He's a great personality. We like Levon a lot.
This was great. It was just so good. What were you thinking? You can't do that. What is going on here, guys?
Black wins by assumption.
Say no
yeah.
knight, no knight.
No knight, mates me.
There is a mate on h8 now after this move, bishop g7, right?
But there's nothing in hand for white.
Precisely.
So
we take on, and now we take the knight. And isn't this a little bit devilish? Do we take on c2?
no, we're not taking on c2. We could probably mate, but
we could. A knight at b4 is very strong next because of king b3, bishop a4 wins the game because of rook a4. Bishop c2, rook a4. I mean,
yes.
So king c4 you have to calculate.
Whoa. Knight c5 was a surprise for me. Pawn d5. What is he doing? I'm not sure this was clever.
Knight c rook
king
c4.
takes c5 and go back.
Rook to
the
c4
mating machine.
check?
Knights, it's very hard.
Rook c4 check. Rook c4 check. King e3.
You want to get the white king to e2. So
yeah, you can take. Yeah, there was rook c4, knight c2 to force the king to e2.
That's what I was thinking, Kleerkast. Ooh, rook to c. No, the king takes b5. Oh man, we love these.
Oh, I like rook c6. Very nice. Very nice. This is very nice. He played the bishop to. The bishop was now covering.
He's got mate. Oh, bishop is covering b6.
He's
still
over. It's not mate. It's not mate.
He's still in it. Queen takes c6.
Bishop at a5.
Bishop at a5.
And then king b7. Bishop at a5. King b7. Rook b8. Win the queen with check.
Bravo, Justin.
Oh. Beautiful. This is Crazyhouse, guys. This is what we came for.
This is Crazyhouse.
It's like you could have just grinded and won that easily, or you can sack your queen on c2 and risk the whole game.
And just barely.
But queen takes c2 and he got there. So
question is, would he have done that if the match was still alive?
No, he would have grinded the whole match. But
no,
he heard Justin's comment before that don't try to mate Jasugi. Okay, I'll take that challenge.
Right.
I'm not taking the pieces.
Look at this f6 e4 blow. Nice. I think Opper is saying, okay, now I can play freely and
do it. It's fun now because you're going to find some really crazy positions because the players will loosen up and just enjoy it here.
Exactly. I like it. Boy, there was something about that last game that was just so remarkable. The problem was if he didn't play queen c2, how was he going to grind it out, Justin?
Well, queen takes f6 just stopped mate on the spot as well, because knight at e7 was all that white had.
Right.
So I guess I'm probably a bit more defensively inclined. So if I see a clear path like that,
because then if bishop at g7 it doesn't come with a mate threat, then you can. Was white's queen still hanging on f3?
I'm not sure. I kind of, but even further back than that, I wouldn't have even allowed bishop takes h6. I was thinking like a knight f5 and concede a rook, and I've been burned too many times by Jasugi. I just automatically avoid certain situations. And queen takes c2 is one of those where I would have got burnt many times.
Right. Wow, white sure's come out of this looking good until that move h3. Man, these guys do not give you a moment to take a breath. I mean, h3
you wanted to follow up h5?
G4.
Yeah, probably. And bishop at f5 ideas as well, of course.
This is nice. This is tricky. So G takes F3, Queen takes F3, Pawn at G4,
Yes.
then Knight takes F6, G takes F6, Queen takes D5, and then White actually has the
Bishop
initiative.
Bishop takes queen takes e4.
Yeah. Okay, I like. That's the first time that they threw in a pawn move that I really liked. It's taken the whole time for a move like F7 to come, and I go, yeah, okay, I can rally behind that one.
Yeah, the point is that if you take it, the bishop takes e4 is if you take bishop e4 now, you just sack the queen. But if you have the king on f7, you can play knight at g5.
That's the resource.
Precisely.
Absolutely.
That is it. That was exactly what was going through my mind as well, Kleerkast. But now with the pawn on f7 and with the knight on f4, I'm feeling like I've got chances.
Knight at g6. Do you want to play next?
Yes, I do. And I definitely want to play.
This is an automatic queen sack. Yeah.
Yeah.
And even knight takes d5 next is like a good move, probably.
True. Definitely things are shaping up nicely here for white. H3, knight h3.
Ooh, this I don't like.
Why?
I'm not sure. Knight takes f3.
You don't like for who?
I
don't like for who?
Yeah, okay, I thought knight takes f3, but just bishop takes d5. Okay, I was a bit scared there.
Yeah. Sometimes we have those panic moments and we go,
yeah,
wait a minute, it's okay. It's all right.
It's not needed. It's not needed.
I'm a genius. It's okay.
Isn't that the worst feeling at over the board chess where you've just missed something and you can literally feel your stomach sink and then you realize it was covered?
Yeah.
It's like what I call the cold shower effect, right? Like my favorites are, I once played a move that was fantastic. So I'm reaching for the board. Vasil Ivanchuk lifts up his pen, right? Like getting ready to write down the move. I go rook a8 to a5, sacrificing a rook. His queen's on d2 for what appears to be nothing.
Yeah.
and the pen hangs in midair, like for the longest time. As Vasil's just looking over the board, but the pen just hangs in midair for like 5 minutes. And the eyebrows were going up and down. He didn't take the rook. Oh, it was a really nice sacrifice. It was a funny match too, because what happened in the match was in that game I was black, the rook sacrifice game, and he defended fantastic. And the game goes, I got a rook and 4 pawns on the same side of the board. He's got rook and 3 pawns, and he defends brilliantly, really, really well, and the game's a draw. And then in the return game, I'm white, and it's rook and 4 versus rook and 3. And again, I have the 4 pawns, and he's got 3 pawns. And now we got to play a tiebreak match. And I say to him, Vasil, if in our rapid games we get rook and 4 versus rook and 3, I'm calling the match a draw due to 3-game repetition. 3-game repetition. That was pretty good. It was a fun match. What's going on here, guys? I've lost.
Yeah, Opper didn't execute the attack.
I think Black was
Black
winning
is
all
holding.
along.
Black is holding with his bishops again.
I think Black's more than holding. Confused. I think Black's winning.
If I take on h5, bishop d5 is what I'm afraid of. Like I thought bishop d5 anyway. Yeah.
And fg and Black's looking good.
I'm with you. I think Black is winning as well. Wow. How did that happen?
Well, you're up against Jasugi, so if he's not checkmated, you're probably losing.
That's the way it works. Huh? It's so simple.
Especially if you have less pieces than him.
Yeah.
This looks to be one of those cases.
He's increasing his margin. So
looks terrible.
We'll see
we still have 4 games to go.
Yeah, we'll see what goes into the history books.
Oh man, that's a beautiful move too. Knight h5, just so we could win the g4 square, and look at that. That was tough. By the way, you were saying about Levon Aronian and in the Bughouse community, he was well liked in the Bughouse community, was he, Justin?
Yeah, and I had the pleasure of meeting him once. He came to Sydney, and I got a call from a number I didn't know, and it was actually Ariane. Unfortunately, we lost Ariane recently.
Yes.
In an accident. And I said, okay, what's going on? So I've got Levon with me, and he wants to meet you guys. Like, where can we meet you tonight? I'm like, okay. So we had Bugzilla as well, and his wife. I think it was maybe us 3. So we went to a bar, and he bought us some drinks, and we played some blitz chess.
Nice.
And yeah, he was just a really nice guy, because he had known us on freechess.org for a few years already. So I've not forgotten that. It's just one occasion we met, but he was good enough to match it with all of the best in the Bughouse community, and he caught on to the game so quickly. He's just I heard at 960 he's also one of the first that really became strong at that variant as well. You can just adapt to things outside of regular chess very well.
I agree. He's fun. Fun guy to hang around with as well. I was about to say knight b6. I was expecting a bishop to land on a5 by white, simply to be annoying, right? I mean, you just played knight b6. The guy goes bishop a5. Your pawn's on a6. You feel like an idiot. But didn't happen. Does tiredness play a role too here?
For sure.
Certainly does for the commentators. They don't know about the players.
Hey, now wait a minute. Just a second, Neil.
It's our morning.
Fighting words, you know.
I have to call out
commentators.
I have to call out one of Neil's efforts. I think it was probably about last year. This time we had. I lost to opperwezen in the 1 minute Crazyhouse World Championship, and we had a fun event where I think we had a People's Champion thing between Jasugi99, and Jasugi actually defeated opperwezen in the 1-0 section, and then there was a call for me to play Jasugi in a 1-0 match, and we had $110 spare money, and we did a 110 game match, no break, 1-0 Crazyhouse, and OKZH and also Neil did live commentary, and how long ago, Neil? Probably more than 3 hours. No toilet break.
How many games in a row was it?
110 of 1-0.
Damn.
And
starting at what time in Sydney?
It
was 4 a.m.
It was worse for Jasugi. I think it was like 4 a.m. for him.
Worse than 4 a.m.
I don't know. And I remember Neil made a comment. I think someone in the chat said, "Neil, are you okay?" And he's like, "Hey, I'm just the commentator here. If the players can stay up, I got it." And I think your closing comment was, "The commentator survived too."
Nice. Well, leaving the other day on day 2 when we all commentated together, you know, the King's pinned.
The King's Pin.
Yeah. King's Pin still goes down as one of the main commentators. So, I'm saying, what game are we playing over here?
Yeah, unfortunately, I think I've entered into Yasser's library of stories with the King is pinned.
It's not a special extra rule in Crazyhouse in case you're new to the game.
New to the game. Okay. Black has been trying very, very hard to puncture the position, but I think it's kind of rebounded against him, and this bishop on h5, frankly, looks stranded.
Opper move, pawn at d2. I'm not sure what it achieves beyond losing the pawn, but maybe that was the best way to dispose of the knight on c4.
Sugi's so solid.
Wow.
He's really solid.
Yeah.
I liked black out of the opening with, the whole fortress in front of the king, and Jasugi can maneuver as well. We talk a lot about opperwezen with his maneuverability, but I like pawn at g4. Why instead of knight at f4?
I thought knight to f4 was really good, but you're right. Pawn to g4, just trapping the bishop, would have been really putting the question, if you will, to this
is a problem.
Kind of rings a bell.
G6 hurts as well as
bishop
E6.
takes g6. Bishop takes h5.
He just ripped a piece. Like he just switched from defense to attack like that.
And look at that, safe king for white. Bishop takes f7 check on tap.
The attack is not over yet. Indeed.
No.
Pawn at h6
and
is coming as
once
well.
More. Yeah. I might have put a knight on g5 as opposed to the pawn on g6 there. Just I like keeping the knight, keeping the pawn in hand. But okay, this is incredibly good for white now. I think it's made by assumption, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it must be. Queen takes a6 maybe, just to get a pawn.
Crucial. What was the idea, Kleerkast?
A pawn at h7 is mating.
Pawn at h7. Bishop takes
you have
h7.
A knight at f7.
Knight at f7. Yeah.
Gotcha. Oh, very nice.
Never mind that d takes e5 was also a pawn, but queen takes a6.
It's a style points.
It's like we're gonna style here. Queen takes a6. Put a queen on the queen side.
So when he defends, you can take another one on b7.
Yeah, exactly.
It was.
I completely missed d takes e5. Just looking. I need a pawn.
We're gonna have to put that in the highlight reel. Queen takes a6. Pawns are important, and here's why. We had that an American skateboarder, a lady. She was on the final mogul, and she's got the gold medal.
Oh yeah, the snowboarding.
Yeah. She makes the style with her. She kicks up at the very finish. She tumbles and falls and gets past.
Yeah.
I only know the speed skating story from the Olympics. Was
it
12 years ago.
That's close.
When everyone else fell over.
The Steve Bradbury story is very close to every Australian's heart. Do you know this one, Yasser? So it was the Winter Olympics as well, but it was the final. I think it's speed skating. There's 5 skaters, and our Aussie in there is kind of outclassed by a long way, and with like 2 laps to go, he's like half a lap behind everyone else.
Okay.
And even in the last lap, he's nowhere near, and in the last turn, 4 of them all tangle and trip over. And nearly, still beat him on their asses, and he just clips the gold medal because he's the last man standing, and it's absolutely it was the most famous and funny story here because we've never won a gold medal, or we're not very strong in Winter Olympics.
Right, as you can imagine.
So yeah, it's like you've got a saying now. It's like it's a Steve Bradbury kind of thing. So
That's the connection.
I was at a company once where a lot of executives got fired, and one of the executives we thought that would have got fired was still there, so he got called Steve Bradbury around the traps.
He hung in there till the very end.
Wow. There's an opposite move, knight at h6, rook takes g6.
Rook takes g6, sharp.
Knight e7 check.
Sharp.
Sweet. Here in Holland, they love their speed skating. They absolutely love the speed skating. And the Dutch are incredibly competitive. They're really, really good in speed skating. Then the point was, there was this guy, I think he was like Tarzan, and he's going around the track, and he's going to make the gold medal. He's really doing well. And his coach tells him to go to the other side, and the coach costs his guy a gold medal. Oh, look, we've got the Spencer Gambit.
Hey, shh, you're interrupting Yasser's story. Sorry, Yasser, continue.
No, it's okay. Hey, look, I mean, if I'm going to get interrupted, he looks like a marvelous...
By the way, 9 out of 3 was played, but what about Queen at G7?
Yeah, Queen at G7, a block off the back. Looked very sensible.
It looks still okay, maybe for white, but you never want to let the king run back so easily.
Exactly.
Even rook takes now, maybe.
Bishop F4.
And bishop at G5, and I'm just gonna...
Yeah, I think he wanted the material.
Yeah, I like the queen on G7 much better. Okay, bishop
Queen H8.
Yeah, I was about to say.
Queen H8.
This is maybe a way to seal off, but King H7.
Oh, I think Queen H8 was missed, guys. That looked really
knight takes
strong
F7 to follow was made in 1, right?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Queen H8, knight
made in
F7,
2 that was, but this will be.
Yeah.
I think he'll be good enough here too.
Well, again, we've been talking about this.
Finishing. You've got to finish them.
Wow.
So I don't know if you guys have seen a movie called Trolls, but that's where I got Spencer from. They're these little things that run around with really big hair.
Multicolored hair.
What's this? Predict a move? You expected the
Queen takes E4, yeah.
Oh, rook at F7.
Rook to F7. Ooh.
And blocking doesn't help. Rook F7 is coming anyway.
Nicely done.
King D8. But knight E6.
Queen takes D7 was also good, but okay, knight E6.
Queen C6 as well.
Yeah. Everything wins. But yeah.
Unfortunately.
Made by assumption from here. Sneaky. So he's attacking D7 by doing this.
Right. I mean, it's amazing how grabbing pieces is often really good. Like mate, right? Oh, nice. Okay. Well, we've got to hand it to Jasugi. I mean, he's won all 3 of the 20 game segments, Justin.
So convincing. And Opper has not played badly. Let's be clear about that. Jasugi's had to force it from Opper's hands, and in the clutch moments he has.
And I had some rumors about an exhibition match between JannLee and the winner of this match. Is there any truth to that rumor?
Well, it's definitely not been seeded by me.
Justin's going to scoop his own story here in just a moment. There's nothing in it, Justin?
I haven't put that much thought into it yet. I mean, maybe we can make something happen, but the main thing I actually need to do next after this is actually complete the standings for the candidates, because we had 7 games that were not completed. So I will need to make sure that happens and that the prizes can be distributed to the players. But we'll see. We'll see what the next next
lots of
event
possibilities, right?
is
I was also thinking with if you see these 4 people here in the call,
yeah.
and you add opperwezen and you add Bugzilla, you have a Netherlands versus Australia matchup
Ooh.
coming, and Master 10 and
Nah.
variants only maybe
What are
as
you
well.
saying? You've adopted
No.
Yasser?
No,
Are you American?
absolutely,
Are you American
absolutely.
or are you
American,
Dutch?
of course.
Oh,
Knight takes
My
G2
wife
mates.
is Dutch. Look at that.
Opper just stole
By
it.
the way,
Opper just
that
stole
was-
it.
Before last
Rovers.
game.
beautiful.
No,
move.
Rover, the last game, A4.
Very nice.
Variants only would be
What?
happy.
Yeah.
I used to play like this when I was like 2 months old.
Yeah, so you would like this in Crazyhouse because you give up the rook for a minor piece very often, so you get a nice defender.
Oftentimes, I never got the minor piece. I just walked the rook. By the way, in any of those Australian versus Holland matches, I have a fear that it'd be too one-sided. You know, we take advantage of the boys down under.
Very good, very good.
Oh, very
What?
good.
King F8. That feels like a hand slip.
Yeah, it
What do you
Yeah,
does.
think?
probably.
Hmm.
It might not be, but it looks like it.
Yeah, I feel so.
Okay, so throwing down the gauntlet, yes. You know,
Seriously?
you've not lost your trash talking skills. They're still up to scratch.
Look, I consider myself a very good trash talker. I mean, I've been around Levon a lot. You know? I mean, that guy's nonstop. Pretty good. By the way, Bishop G4. I'm thinking Rook G4, Knight G6. So no bishop in hand going to G4. But here, ooh. Yeah, this must be winning for white. Knight to E5 check. Knight in hand to E5 check, of course.
Yeah, I don't see it as decisive just yet, actually.
Why?
It's.
What? Oh,
He wants a pawn on F7 and a rook on E8 or G8.
I think you also want to stop knight takes H4 because that was if you run out of fuel,
Okay.
black can start moving in.
I like King G6.
Yeah, I do too. If you
I
don't
think
mate
it was
black, black
required.
starts. You know, black goes well. You've got a few queenside pieces over there doing nothing.
This is a good move.
That's a
though.
good move.
Yeah, Queen.
You've got to
takes
make
H5
something
in the
happen
end.
quickly.
Queen H5 now as well is a threat, so you have to do something. Okay, take. No,
Take
don't
an
think. Just
H5?
take. Queen takes G4. Yeah, of course. Okay, he finds it.
Yeah, this is made.
That's it. Well done,
This
Oppa.
makes-
He comes home
That's
with
why
a
I thought
flurry.
It was over. Ooh, it's not over till it's over.
Yeah, pawn G5.
Pawn at G5.
Yeah, and there'll be a
Pawn
queen at
F4.
F7 or queen at H7. Yeah, very clean.
Nice.
The 12-8.
Okay, these were the finishes we were looking for earlier.
Yes, but
Yeah, and it came at the very end. Guys, it
respectable
was
score
another
either
fun,
way.
Yeah, it was another fun session. It
Yeah.
was great calling the games with you all.
Yeah, no, thank you so much for joining Yasser, Mugwort, and Kleerkast. It's really good to have you to chat with. So I'm not on my lonely self commentating things or missing things. It's always really good to have more perspectives. So I hope we do more of this in future. As we each get better with the technical issues as well with streaming.
By the way, the technical issues, you did great, Justin. Seriously, I felt it.
Well,
the stream went well.
We have 4 internet connections to thank for that didn't go out. Huge congratulations to Jasugi99. He's a new champion, a very deserving champion. I think he had a absolutely huge chance to defeat me back in 2017, and I think people will have already called him a deserving champion 3 years back. Yeah, commiserations to opperwezen, but opperwezen already championed 2 times. He hands over the crown to Jasugi. Yeah, Any other finishing comments
Just
from
a
the
big
team?
shout out to audience for all of their great support. I just wanted to say thank you so much for joining us. It's great and keeping us on our toes with the very salient comments. I enjoyed it, and all your support donations help the players. Thanks a lot. Thank you, everybody, and Happy New Year, everybody, too.
I do need to acknowledge An Entire Sleeve, who donated $50 late in the stream. Sorry I didn't call that out when it happened, but he said the only thing better than the quality of these games is the quality of the commentary. Thanks, everyone.
Oh, that's very
So
nice.
that's a very nice note to finish on. Very nice there.
Very
And
undeserving.
we should also say big thanks to Justin for putting this all together and being the main organizer
Absolutely.
this year. He's given up a lot of his time, and all the
Yes,
players and the viewers really much appreciated.
Oh,
Absolutely.
thanks so much. That's a very nice comment. Just happy to see the game, growing like it has, and we hope for bigger and better next year. That's the idea.
Absolutely.
Great to see some
Very nice.
grandmasters dabbling in Crazy House too.
Yeah, there's more and more coming in,
Yeah.
so it's very well established now. Okay, all right.
I've one final
Yes.
thing. I'm making a tournament right now, Crazyhouse tournament on Lichess. So if people still wanna keep playing, I'm gonna post the link, and maybe you could raid me, Justin.
Yeah,
as
sure.
well.
We'll definitely
And
raid
then,
you. So just
and then
just for the beginner, /raid Kleerkast _chess. Is that the command?
exactly. I think.
Got to make sure I don't miss that underscore. Okay. All right.
Yeah. All right.
We'll close
See you
off
soon.
here. We'll post this to YouTube. I'm going to raid you now, Kleerkast. Are you live yet, or do you want me to
Yeah,
hold on for a bit?
I'm live right now.
You're live right now. Okay. We're going to raid you. There was a problem
nice.
starting the raid. Please try again in a minute. Okay. We might have to try again in a minute. Yeah. I've got 2 kids now. Great. Okay.
It's nice to see Justin being trolled.
It's trolling a new meaning, huh?
Oh dear.
Look at that hair, right?
This is the future Bughouse team from my bloodline. Got to
Australian
form a
Olympic
partnership
team
between
right
these
there.
two. Make a team.
I can see it.
We've got to defeat the Netherlands somehow. Soon Jasugi will be on your team.
Wow.
That's
Great.
it.
Well, good night, everyone. It was been really, really a lot of fun. Thank you, Neil. Thank you, Kleerkast, Justin.
Thanks,
as
everyone.
always.
All right.
Pleasure.
Just
All
sent the
right.
raid to you. Okay.
All
Enjoy
right.
your stream.
Thanks very much.
And Happy New Year to everyone.
Happy New
Yes.
Year.
Okay. Bye for now.
Bye-bye.
Bye for
Bye
now.
bye.